created this channel roughly 2 weeks ago without really knowing what to expect. Although I didn't know what would happen, I definitely didn't expect receiving so much support. I've received hundreds and hundreds of comments from people who want this project to continue, and I can't thank you guys enough. Among those comments are a lot of questions, and before watching this, you guys should understand that unlike my other videos, this one will focus primarily on the Q&A, which I'm obviously going to draw out. So, a lot of these questions asked about similar topics, predominantly about my editing and background. It makes sense to explain my background before the editing bit. A lot of you asked about where I lived, where I'm from, and why I speak English despite being from Barcelona. So let's rewind a bit. I was born in Barcelona in 1991. When I was 4 years old, my parents gave me a mushroom haircut and threw me on a plane to the United States, in which I would stay for the next 12 years. But our first stop was Atlanta, Georgia. I was literally the only white kid in my entire school, and I didn't speak a word of English, but I loved it. We moved around Atlanta a few times, but then we eventually decided to move up to Philadelphia. We moved 3 times in Philly before we eventually moved to a little place called Radnor, in which we moved another 3 times. We lived there until I was 16, but then I got thrown on a plane again and I had to start my life all over. Again. It was probably the lowest point in my life, and to make matters worse, my grandpa died within the first weeks of us living there. Over time, I got my shit together and met a lot of awesome people, including John. He was a bit skinnier back then. We were interested in the same things, including skateboarding, filmmaking, hitting the gym, football, and Guitar Hero. When I finished high school, I moved directly to London to get my bachelor's degree. I studied marketing. I moved back to Sitges and later to Barcelona, where I ended up meeting my girlfriend Emilia, who, by the way, is also doing the vegan challenge with me. I ended up moving to Finland for a year and got the chance to live in Vasa, Kauhajoki, and Helsinki. There, I was introduced to snowmobiling, which is probably the most intense sport I've ever tried, and I'm absolutely in love with it. We ended up moving back to Barcelona, and now that I've been forced to actually add up the numbers, I've actually moved 27 times in my life. I don't even understand it myself. So why do I speak English? Well, it's natural to me. In fact, when my family gets together at a dinner table, you'll see that my mom speaks to my sister and I in Catalan, my dad speaks to us in Spanish, and we respond to both of them in English, which makes absolutely no sense to people visiting us for the first time, but that's what's most natural to us. So anyways, let's get to the editing. A lot of you guys mentioned the editing, and I'm glad you guys like it. Do I have experience? Yes. Jen and I run a digital design business where we edit videos for public figures with a large following base. So now that you understand where I get my experience from, let's focus on how I make these videos. I don't want to disappoint you guys, but I really don't use anything too flashy. I vlog with a Canon 550D with 2 different lenses. I also use a GoPro and this small ass mic that I got for 50 bucks. It's actually made for laptops, but it still works for me. In terms of software, I use Final Cut Pro, a bit of Photoshop, and GarageBand for my background music. So next question, why does John call me the Pigeon Man? Well, a few years ago, I was hitting the gym pretty hard, and while my upper body was well developed, my thighs were average, and my calves were unfixably small. So according to John, my body structure resembled that of a pigeon. But why a pigeon and not, say, a duck? In Barcelona, there are a lot of pigeons everywhere, so the joke is much easier to whip out. So next question, what music do I listen to? Lately, I've been listening to a lot of M83, but my taste in music is all over the place. On the same playlist, you'll find a handful of songs by Frank Sinatra, Immortal Technique, Freddie Mercury, Flume, or Children of Bodom, to name a few. It really doesn't make much sense to anyone else but me. So next question, what is the most interesting thing I've learned so far about veganism? Well, I mean, aside from all the eye-opening facts about, the animal industry, I'm extremely surprised about how wrong my perception of veganism was. It seems so difficult, but the reality is that there are so many good meat replacements. They taste so good and they are so cheap that it doesn't even feel like I'm making a sacrifice. It's much, much easier than I thought it was going to be. Which brings us to the final questions. What will I do with the channel after all this is over? And is there even a chance that I'm going to stay vegan? I honestly don't know what I'm going to do with the channel because I didn't think it would get as much support as it's gotten, but it has, so the way that I see it, I must be doing something right. And I'm happy to continue making videos after this challenge is over. But is there a chance that I'm actually going to stay vegan at that point? Well, I don't want to set anything in stone just yet. My instinctive response at the moment is an absolutely. Day 10, and we are going to my girlfriend's workplace to export the video because my Wi-Fi at home is absolutely terrible. So we're gonna grab the motorcycle, head over to a place called Kultra, upload my video, and start the day. Here they gave me the slowest freaking internet, and for €1 more you can get fiber optic, but you need to have like a million other options. Anyways, it's a mess. But we have to go export from Kultra, so see you soon. Gonna upload the video from the Culture computer, and actually I came and for some reason I'm getting a gift, which I guess is we'll see. No, I didn't even know that. Okay, this is awesome. Thanks. So I got like a cup and stuff, which I thought was cool, and I didn't know what the hell this thing was until little ball turns, and actually, this feels amazing. It's like the easiest little, oh.
It's not the first time you had balls on your neck.
The same exact video that takes like 4 hours to upload at my house only takes 3 minutes here. This is the kind of speed that I need. We are in Barcelona Sands, where we're gonna shoot a couple of clips, some time lapses and whatnot. So yeah, let's get to the main plaza. I talked a couple of times about the inconveniences I see in, you know, being a vegan and going to eat, you know, somewhere else. I had become accustomed to always getting like a morning coffee somewhere, so I would just leave the house. You know, if I had to go send in some shirts, I went there. If I had to go meet with someone, I did it, but I always just kind of got a morning coffee, you know, wherever I was, and it was really convenient. And I'm seeing that, I don't know how it is in the rest of the world where some of you guys live, but at least in Barcelona, it's not easy to find coffee places that have, like, for example, soy milk. Most places, if you ask for a coffee or a coffee with milk, they only have cow milk, which, to be honest, is a complete pain in the ass because I do enjoy, you know, drinking coffee, but I don't want to drink the cow milk that comes with it. So I have to ask for a black coffee, which is unfortunate. It's just one thing that I noticed, and yeah, I mean, it's a real situation. Like, if you're used to drinking coffee with milk every morning and stuff, and you're switching to vegan, you have to find a place that serves your coffee with soy milk, and you have to know where that place is. So for now, I'm just making coffee at home, coffee with vanilla soy milk at home, which works just fine, but I have to find an actual place where I can go to for when I leave the house. We have found it. We're going to a place called Bio Center. So that lasted like 5 seconds because apparently their kitchen is closed. So after a long time walking, we finally found the place we're going to go to. And we are going to go to a place called Vegetalia, which is actually like right next to Gopal. So we went around in a ton of circles, and I've never been here, so we're going to try it out. And if I like it, this is going to be one of my new spots. Like a huge fountain behind me, so I don't know to what extent you'll be able to hear this clearly. Now that I am into my second week of being a vegan and stuff, I feel like I've already like overcome, you know, figuring out what to eat, and now I'm more looking into, you know, the smaller details. So now I find myself looking a lot into the ingredients of products. In a lot of these ingredients, I'm reading that it says stuff like may contain milk, may contain egg. If it does say may contain, in my opinion, it's because they're doing it unwillingly. You know, they don't have complete control of whether or not they're using animal products or not. So if they're not doing it willingly, in my opinion, they're not contributing directly to the suffering and death of animals. I hadn't really even considered until now. I didn't even really understand that, like, so many of these foods at the end wrote like may contain traces of milk and stuff. I never even really focus on that. But you guys may completely disagree with me, but you can let me know in the comment section.